right, what is going on, guys? What is going on, everybody? We are finally getting started here. How is everybody doing? Had to start it off with no other better way than Earth, Wind, and Fire, because we are midway through September, and we got some opportunities here to start the day off. So welcome in. Blessed to be here this morning with the Maverick team in the Simpler Trading website, as well as live on YouTube this morning. So what is going on, YouTube family? Nice to be here with everybody. Let's start the morning off where we left yesterday. Yesterday, we had some great opportunity overnight. Most of the plays that I trade is from one day to the next. I'd say about 80% of my buys and sells usually come from buying late in the day one day and selling early that next morning. And we had a great morning winner here from our overnight watch list. There's actually two in the robotic sector that are already showing up, which you already know we love to see the continuation. There's no better way to start the morning than with a morning bag. But if you zoom into yesterday's overnight watch list that's created every day at 3 p.m. Eastern, we had RR that has a beautiful gap up right now, and Wrecker, which was the one we really liked. And after giving that after hours dip that we were looking for, it actually gapped up to 148. So beautiful 10% push here, just about a 6% push here. And then we are eyeing down the metal stocks as well. So yesterday when we closed out the day, let me show you. We started to see some momentum in the metal stocks, and two of those that we liked were TDRRF, DNRSF, and I also liked these ones, PGEZF, AGAGF. But all of those look beautiful for opportunities for overnight plays, and this morning we'll see if they continue. They are OTC stocks, so they don't move until the bell actually starts, which is in 5 minutes. But to look at the sector leader, MP, getting a nice spike to start the day after coming out with news, that's a good sign for that metal sector. So maybe we can get some sort of continuation of momentum from yesterday. You have other metal stocks also up slightly this morning. CRML coming up to the $7 area. UAMY, new breakout. Both of those are metal stocks. So it just shows that this sector, it's kind of the gold, metals, rare material sector is drifting its way to new 52-week highs. And usually my goal is to try to find the ones that haven't quite done that yet. So if you are just joining with us now, we did make some buys yesterday with the Wrecker play already from here to here. Nice overnight situation if anybody took advantage of that dip. But we do have an OTC stock right now, and I'll just explain to you what I was looking for yesterday and the opportunities we're looking for this morning. So we ended up getting a big runner that consolidated for 5 straight days and looks like it wants to make that next leg up. There is resistance at 85, so I do want to see if it's able to push up to this area today. This is the area I was looking to try to sell it. That's why I kind of had a sell limit ready to roll. But this is only a third of my shares, or just about a half. So I'm still going to try to get more if we can get a push this morning. I am going to stick with the cut, which is 77.76. So if we start to come down, the breakout is technically 74. So I should be using 74 as breakout, but I don't know if I want to wait that long. So if it starts to come down, I might just decide to get out. And that's how the plan is every day. Always have a risk to reward, and you just want to stick to the plan. A good example from yesterday to today where you could have made money, woke up 10%, tag the bag, or stay patient and look for it to push some more. But a great first green day in a robotic stock, because the robotics sector and RR has been leading the way in that sector. And with that RR push, it's gapping up right here to multi-month highs, and it's definitely a watcher this morning. You had other robotic stocks that started to move, and that's usually where I start to eye my type of plays down. And this was why this lined up as one of the overnight opportunities. that you could make 10%. So beautiful 10% this morning there, Mavs. Great work. And then let's see if we can get that 10% plus from the overnight watcher in the metal stock. There's no better way to start the day with a bag. So let's see if we can do it again. Yesterday, so to open up the week yesterday, we actually started it off with a morning bag. And it was an overnight breakout, just like this one that we're playing today. So very similar move that we were able to make just about 7% on yesterday. So we'll see what we got here. But before we get the day started, we got 2 more minutes left. So I just want to show you every single morning, I also make a morning watch list. And that morning watch list are stocks that I'm watching to make opportunity in that morning. And we do have a nice list. Open has been the main attraction, so we have to continue to watch Open and the sympathies that follow Open. OPI is one of those sympathies that has absolutely taken off, coming up to $1 now. Broke $1 earlier this morning, but huge sympathy run from 25 cents to $1.17 now in 3 days. So that means you got to keep your eyes on OPEN. And if this continues to run, we might get some other runners. And some of those other runners that we were watching, GoPro was one of them. So GPRO yesterday was a breakout that we were watching. And then you have OPAD that hasn't really done anything yet. And it's still even. So keeping our eyes there this morning. And then the last couple of ones that we got, the 2 robot ones I just talked to you about. And then a Wolf, which is a Bitcoin stock coming up to multi-month highs. It's gapping up once again, so beautiful gap up. And here are the multi-month highs of 333. So we'll see if we can break out of there today. And then the last one that I like is BBAI. I've been watching this all week saying that this is probably going to be a good one to turn around. And it's actually starting to turn around. So if we can get a good first green day here, I think this will be a good overnight play. But all right, let's start off with the stock we're in overnight. Let's see if we can get any type of push this morning, because that's the goal. And let's get it. Good luck out there, guys. Remember to stay patient for your favorite setups. And let's go get these bags. Surprisingly, BBAI with a really nice gap up there. I like the look of that. So other metal stocks are gapping up. So we'll see if we can get any type of push here this morning. Record, nice little gap up with RR. We'll see if those can continue. Open's actually starting down. PGEZF actually gapped up. That was the other one we were watching yesterday as well. Wow, look at BBAI. So beautiful start there for BBAI. I was trying to get in some cheap options yesterday at 25 cents. They're actually up to 50 cents now. So nice move there to start the day. Markets have been very hot lately. QQQ and SPY have been gapping up after gapping up after gapping up. We haven't really got too much of a push down in a while, which gives you a little bit of precaution, in my opinion, to think, when are we going to get that possible push down? But for now, I'm going to keep riding with the momentum like we've had for the past couple of weeks. Nice move by this BBAI here. So we'll keep an eye on this. This could be a possible mover without a doubt today. And I think it might be one that we'll have to possibly play overnight. The reason why I like this one too is SOUN is one that would usually run with it. And this one's kind of moved its way up a little bit. And then if you also look at RGTI, which is another one that was very friendly with it, also just hanging out. But that one actually is right by 52-week highs, RGTI, if you look at that one. It looks like PGEZF was the overnight winner here. Up 15% now. If anybody took that one. The clear 52-week breakout and the strength of the 52-week breakout is always beautiful to see. BBAI. All right, so we'll start our morning off by keeping our eyes with BBAI, without a doubt. And let me see if I could start looking at other plays that I do like, since I'm still focused on this one here. A metal stock that actually gapped up very nicely, AREC, AREC. Perfect 52-week breakout there. So it kind of shows the strength of these stocks. Oh, we're getting a little bit of sell here in the TDR, but I want to see if we can hold. Let's see. Most of the other metal stocks are still holding, so we'll see if we can get any type of hold here. All right. So going down, I'm also going to start watching the I'm going to stick to the cut here, which is 74, the breakout. But other than that, I'm going to go through the morning watch list and start looking at what we got here with Open and GoPro. Open has pushed its way down, so it kind of puts those sympathy plays a little bit at jeopardy. The ones that have actually pushed up a little too much, you can possibly look to short, like that OPI. So GoPro didn't really continue, got pretty heavy there. OPI, I would definitely lean short here. Look at Wolf. Wolf's testing the breakout. Not going to jump the gun on it right here, but we will watch this one as well. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, let me keep BBAI up too. So there's Wolf's breakout. Nice continuation with Wolf. With the lighter volume one that we're in, we unfortunately took a lighter volume one, and sometimes with lighter volume, if you take it, you got to be willing to take a dip. But we're sticking to the cut. It doesn't drop below the cut, so that's the main reason of holding on. And we'll see if we could follow up at all. Metal stocks are still holding across the board, so that could have just been a morning dip really quick, especially a lighter volume one. What I'm looking for in BBAI now, because usually I like to stay a little more patient when it comes to the morning plays. But if we do come back to 530 area, as long as we can hold 530, I honestly might take a swing with, 520 is cut. Because if it starts to drop below 520, that's going to start to show some pretty bad weakness. But let's see. Let's see if we can get a morning dip to possibly swing into. It looks like 520 is the pre-market support and post-market kind of highs. So let's see. I'm going to put some alerts here to see if we can get some dips back a little lower. A good example of what I'm looking for is yesterday with RR. RR offered some beautiful dips in the morning, and then they ended up both turning themselves around. So if you look at RR yesterday, it's right by the breakout, and this is where maybe we'll watch Wolf. But right next to that breakout level, it spiked to 370 and then it came back to 350 and then it did it again. And then now it's at 4. So the morning play here would have been beautiful with that momentum. So let's see if Wolf can do something like that right now. But you see the 340 and then the higher low to 350. And you can just use that low a day as cut as long as we hold that low a day. Alrighty, so as I continue to watch, I also like to go through my couple of scans that I have created in the morning. I have a big watch list scan that I have for listed stocks that I'm trying to go through to see what the big runners are. And then I also have a TD scan that I've created, kind of that I consider my master watch list, which is a watch list of stocks that I've just been watching since I would say all the way back in 2018. So I've had them, and I think it's deleted once. So 2020 is when this watch list is pretty much, I would say, started at. But it's just a huge watch list that I like to go through to get a good idea of what exactly I'm looking for here. So let's see what I got. I'm going to go through those watch lists. As I continue, we are coming down to our cut spot. So we will cut if it does drop below 74, and that is fine with me. But let's see if we can get any type of bounce. Most of the metal stocks are kind of drifting back down, which is not a good thing. So odds are against us right now. Probably should have got at it pretty soon earlier, but that's okay. We're still sticking to the plan at the end of the day. And sometimes that's how it is, you know. If you look at it, you have overnight winners. The great thing is you can break even on one trade or lose a little bit on one trade, but if you're able to take the other one and win, with one win and one loss, you're still usually able to profit a good amount. So that's why you got to try. Always try to put that effort in. And when you go for it, you just have to make sure you stick to the plan. And that plan is always set up usually with the support and resistance levels the day before. So your goal is you want to try to see this hold the support. So that's where we're at right now. And then you want to try to see it break that resistance level, which with Record, if you see yesterday, you know, that 130 to 148. All right, BBAI offered its first dip. We'll keep our eyes on it. I'm also going to watch the options here in BBAI. These are the ones I was watching yesterday at 25 and 30. I had a limit at 25, but it just never filled me yesterday. Maybe we finally get that fade day that the market's kind of been waiting for. And if we do, I'm going to actually go through the list of stocks that I'm actually have on a short watch. So I like to long for the most part. Mainly I'm a long trader, but I will short stuff if things go. And right now, the markets have been so hot lately that I'm not saying let's go short the market and bring it back down. I'm just saying if there is opportunity for a day or two of a pullback, I can see that definitely happening in a lot of stocks that are a bit overextended. And I'll show you those in a second. Let me just finish off the scan and see if there's other runners that I like out here. All right, I'm going through. Man, see, like it just doesn't matter. I think we just picked the wrong one, which is unfortunate. But here's another one that actually worked out really big. AUBMF, AUMBF. This is a 52-week breakout. It was just hard for me to decide which one to go after. And then that PGEZF. So a couple of these metals worked out. Just the one that we chose was a little bit lighter volume here. And that's okay. You can't win them all. But you'll always be able to get it back if you don't give up. And that's why I always like to tell my never give up stories on Wednesdays. Wednesdays at 12:30. If you're free, come catch me in the Simpler Showcase room tomorrow at 12:30. And I'm going to give a good never give up story that I've actually been waiting to tell. I have 2 never give up stories in football. I might give them both tomorrow. Now I'm going to just do one, and I'll save the other one for another day because I like to do a little research on these people too, because I like to see, they literally are proving to themselves that if they didn't give up, that they were able to succeed in their career and hit the highest levels. And I've gone over a couple different people already, but now that it's football season, I'm kind of blending my way into football. But I got 2 specific people that I think are very important to talk about that. So this game's all about never giving up. If you take a loss, you got to know how to just get right back up again. And I honestly think people that play sports are usually better at it or can pick up on stock trading quicker. And the reason behind that is only because you know how to lose, or if you've played a game where you know how to lose, because you have to know how to lose and get back up. That's a big part of trading. So I'm scanning my field right now as I keep watching our plays. And, it is actually a lighter morning compared to what we've had last week and this week. Last week was beautiful. We had a lot of opportunities. There was a lot of stuff moving. To start this week, same thing. But today I would say we're a little lighter here as I scan the fields. Maybe it's because the QQQ Inspire getting a little iffy. We also have FOMC coming up. So that always gets people on their heels. I know a lot of people out there, think that day traders love volume, so they'll love FOMC, but I'm a day trader that likes to play to reaction. So that kind of volume is usually volume I don't absolutely love. I usually like the volume that comes after it and how the market reacts to it. So I don't usually love these type of weeks. But we'll see. One watcher that I have on a high watch this week, it might not be one that happens today, but I would say tomorrow if it continues to hold. RR for sure. Didn't really take a huge dip, and if it holds by breakout, that's even better. So it couldn't break out. That was something I talked about yesterday with the community, was will this be able to break out? And if it doesn't, we're at heavy resistance levels on the long-term chart. So you also want to be quick to sell, because you also have to realize what's happening here is we also could have just drifted right to breakout and resistance levels. And if it's not heavy enough or not if it doesn't get enough volume to push that, it might just come right back down. So got to be a little bit of aware of today. But if we do get that blow the top off day tomorrow or the next day, this is going to be a great watcher. And there will be a wave of other robotic stocks, starting with iRobot, and that is not the movie. Wrecker still holding, but came right back down. So if you did sell this morning, good sell. Serve's always the higher priced one. And then Kit is the sketchy reverse split that just did. So you got a wide range of all different kinds of robotic stocks. You even have an OTC one if you want. So look at that. But that sector is more kind of based off of RR, Tesla, which Tesla had an absolutely amazing last 3 days. So if Tesla keeps holding and spiking, we'll see. But the one that I was talking about earlier that I think we should be watching for this week is CHEK. It gapped up. This is resistance. I know that. But the fact we're still holding and we didn't get a big push down makes me think that shorts are probably going to get stuck here. And I like to be where shorts are stuck. So if I zoom out to the long-term chart, what do I see? I pretty much see a support at 230. It did crack that yesterday a little bit, but it hasn't come back below that. Pretty much 220. So let's see if we can hold that today. I want to continue to watch this. As long as we don't completely collapse, shorts are probably still going to be on their heels. It doesn't guarantee anything, but it keeps you for a possible big runner tomorrow, I would say. Because usually I like this play. It's the third play. It's called the morning momentum play that I play. And it's usually after a couple green day, after a huge green day, a consolidation day or two, and then you look for that next leg up. Because if you hold long enough after a huge gap up from 60 cents to $3, shorts are going to be so nervous. And if you are familiar with shorting, which you should be, you're probably going to cover at that time. And you want to be buying where shorts are covering. That's just the typical long strategy. I know some long traders, some of the best long traders, have just kind of studied people that short. They find out where they cover, and that's kind of a way that you can find out where you long. So that's why I say, even if you don't short, it's very important to just understand it. It's like playing offense and defense in any type of sport. I played offense all my life in hockey, but if I ever had to go play defense in practice, it gave me a good feel of what I should be doing on offense. Because then I started to realize, all right, I'm skating backwards on defense. My stick's on my right side if I'm a right-handed stick. So there's certain ability that you can do to twist that guy up if you're skating towards him. So that's kind of an offense and defense way. Same thing here. Look, so now that we're watching it, understanding the shorts are winning this morning and shorts are winning from yesterday. But most shorts probably got in during the day. I mean, some of them maybe got in pre-market, but probably during this morning. So if you look at it, this is heavy resistance from this morning, and it just hit it again. But will we hold this 220 level when we come down to it? And if we do, it'll put all of these people on their heels. And we want to make them on their heels. Just groove. So CHEK will be a top watcher this week. Look at BBAI. Speaking of that dip and rip, we're back to highs. This is definitely going to be a high watcher for later. Later's a lot. Like I said, 80% of my buys usually come later. So if you are with me later on, there's a good chance we go after this. I always like to look at stock. I'm an option guy too, but honestly with BBAI, I'm more of a stock guy because this can do a lot of stuff pre-market or post-market. And if I get a squeeze post-market, I'll just take it. And sometimes it's not going to guarantee a hold. So keep an eye out. We're trending back up. This is a nice momentum shifter here in BBAI, and it's one that I've been watching since yesterday's morning. And why I say yesterday morning, every single Monday morning, I do my weekly watch list, which is a list of stocks I look. And on Friday, BBAI came out with news with Nashville Airport. That's why I got this random gap to start the week. And then it kind of held. And usually when you gap and hold, that makes you think we're probably going to curl back up. And once we curl back up, now I like it. That's just a momentum shift in my books. So here is a momentum shifter. You also want to look in the past history. Has the stock pushed in the past? Has it gapped up before? And yes, if you look at it, it has. So across the board, the things are checking off here. And that makes me like it for later. Usually I like 10% plus. So we're getting kind of close to a 10% day too. And the reason why I say 10%, because that means it has the chance to spike 10%. And then the next day, it could probably do something similar or better. So that's why I like it. You want to see stocks that have spiked before. A lot of people will ask me, oh, well, what about this one? This one looks good. And it'll be up like 2%. And all the other days before that will be 2%. So it'll look good because I trade patterns and the pattern will look good. But there's other things that you have to look for. You got to find stocks that are going to give you the opportunity to make 15% overnight. Stocks that give you the opportunity to make 20% overnight. And if you don't find those and you stick with 2%, 2%, you can definitely still grow your account. But I usually like growing a smaller account. And once you get used to growing that smaller account, you're just used to the percentages that you see. And you can do what you do with a smaller account with a larger account as well. It doesn't matter. So here is a good example, $250 million in volume in BBAI. You can easily get in and out of that with any type of account. Wolf, the same example, 105 million to start the day. And we're still hanging out right by breakout. I don't love this one because it's 4 green days. I'm not going to short this yet, but to tell you the truth, this is definitely lining up with one of my short patterns. And now let's talk about that a little bit because markets are coming down. And our number one short from yesterday, Mavericks, Hive, did end up following up perfectly. If you ever wanted to learn a little more about the short strategy, you can actually check out, I just released this video, the first red day video, and it goes over that short strategy pretty in depth. But this is all my strategies, actually, all my different patterns that I'm actually describing to everybody today. So if you are wondering exactly how I'm making money and stuff like that, there is a good way to start if you did enjoy this. I also got a full community of traders in simpler trading under the Mavericks Mastery. So also would love to have you if you are interested in this type of trading. Last week we actually won together. So I've been doing this every single Tuesday. Next Tuesday we'll be together again, but then after that I'm going to Europe for 2 weeks, so I get a nice little vacation. A reason why I trade is because it gives you that ability to be able to do whatever you want, go wherever you want. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So for me, I'm heading to Europe for 2 weeks next week, actually on Tuesday, but I'll be with you guys in the morning before I head to Europe. So join me next Tuesday as well. But last Tuesday we hit a win. The Tuesday before that we hit a win. This one it looks like we might go red slightly, which is okay. Like I said, it's part of the game. Out of all my trades, I have over 3,500 trades now. There's 1,500 losers. So no matter what, you're always going to run into losers. It's just how you handle them and how you minimize them, meaning how you can lose less on them. In my situation here this morning, it probably should have been to get out right away. I gave this one a little more chance because the rest of the metal stocks I was, given a chance. But without a doubt, I should have probably just dipped out of this right away. But all the other metals are holding, so that's kind of why I gave it a chance. All good. We'll take the 5% loss if we have to, if it starts to tick down some more. But I'm also sticking to that breakout cut. So if we do hold the breakout also, we'll see. We might still have life here. So I'm going to keep an eye on this, though, because this is definitely my number one watcher this morning. And now let's talk about the shorts that I was saying. So in the weekly watchers, there was a group of shorts that I like. Gold actually was on the short watch, even though I played a gold stock overnight. And that's because gold has just been drifting up. I honestly would love it for 1 or 2 more days, to tell you the truth. If it gets 1 or 2 more days, I like the chances of the possibility of a gold short. I think there's a lot of gold short opportunities out there that we could take advantage of. All right, I can now. So I'm getting out. I'm taking the loss here on this TDRF. It's going to take 75 here. Should have definitely done it earlier, but that's okay. We'll get it back. We will get it back. Still hasn't taken me yet. We'll see. I have a limit in, but we'll see what happens. If it gets some sort of bounce, but I don't think it will. TDRF. So we're sitting hanging out right here at the breakout. This is the breakout level. So this was the spot. We did buy it a little bit higher than we wanted above the breakout level, which is usually not what you want to do. You know, getting it at 79 when the breakout's here. That's not the beauty, but that's all right. Very light volume, also big mistake of taking. So usually I like $1 million in volume. This one had the best volume it's ever had, but also only 500,000. So very, very light compared to what I usually like. And if you look across the board, it looks like we're drifting down now. A big thing that I've learned in my history is it's way better to get into something that's trending in the opposite direction than to hold something that's just trending down. So I'm not going to give this a chance anymore if it continues to trend down. We need one more tick back up here at the breakout. And if it doesn't get it, then we're going to definitely get out here. Because the thing is, if you could sit in something downwards all day, it wastes your energy and focus to the possibilities and what's in front of you. And you can easily swap into something that has a nice momentum shift by tomorrow or even later today, and you make that money back and more. So that's always the goal. And where I'm shifting my focus would be this BBAI. So with BBAI, the goal now is, can we hold 535, 530? It looks like we're basing out. We don't want to see it drop below that. For me, I usually like to let things settle throughout the day. So I'll try to see if maybe we can hold throughout this day. The longer we hold, the better, in my opinion. That's why I usually like to buy later in the day, because in my strategy, I love to see the long-term chart trending, which right now you can see clearly we're trending up. And then I have to dive into the daily chart. And a lot of people would make fun of people that look at the 1 day, 1 minute. But I honestly think the 1 day, 1 minute really gives you everything you got here. So BBAI hasn't really formed for us yet until 2 p.m., 2:30 p.m. That starts to give me a good feel that we've completely formed. And what I mean by formed is you have a support to risk off of now. And even if you're not looking at the 1 day, 1 minute, you could zoom out. You can do the 15-minute, which is still creating support at that 5:30. You can do the 5-minute. So whichever way you want to look at it, you still see that 535 support. I just like the minute because I personally think that minute gives you every single, I know some people are going to be like, you're crazy. You're a drug addict. That's what they say about us minute traders, but just what I've done also forever as well. And if you know what works for you, you got to just stick to what works, right? All right. All right, I'm going to do my last scans here. We got about 15 more minutes together. So I'll do some scans down my major watch list to see if there's anything out there right besides pretty much this one that I really like. A lot of the times though, if I am, trading an afternoon play, I won't find it usually till midday because things do have to develop. So maybe we haven't even found the one that we're going to play yet, even though I do like BBAI a lot. But I'm going to go through that master watch list. I'll bring up different ones that I'm watching throughout my day. So for those of you guys that are new here, one great thing I'd recommend you to do is just add all these stocks that I bring up right now to a watch list of yours. Because even if they don't make a move today, they're big runners and they could easily come back. And that's usually what the goal is. You want to be able to find runners before they happen. So even if they're not today, like I said, they can easily come back. So BGI, you can see a huge gap up here. I'm going to look at the yearly chart. This would be more one I'd probably look later in the week if we can consolidate, just like CHEK. With CHAK, it came down to 220, but look what it did. Oh, no, it didn't hit 220 yet, but it's still holding 220, which is pretty big. So we'll keep an eye on that. But this BGI would remind you of that. It's just the start of it. So what I do is I'll usually make a watch list and I'll name it, you can name it Third Green Day. So I'll do it right now. I'll just make a brand new one for everybody. You put create watch list. We'll make it, morning momentum. That's what I call this play. So morning momentum. And then we'll add check. And now BGI is on there. I also like AIRE earlier. So I'm creating this mini watch list here of just kind of possibilities, because usually you can't. In my strategy, it's hard to take advantage of that first day, which we're on right now with BGI, this huge 100% day almost. Hard. Like, what are you going to do with it? Question I always ask myself. So usually you can't do much with it. And you got to wait to see what's going to develop. That's usually what I love. And right now, check is developing. And you look at stocks like Open, and they've completely squeezed the top off after doing things like that. And that's kind of what you look for. So AIRE is the other one that I was looking at. And the only reason why AIRE I like is because it is one of those open sympathies. And it is holding now. 110. Technically, 1 is the spot that it's holding. Because if you zoom out, it collapsed to 1. But 110, I guess, would be that spot. All right. Now let me keep going down this list. This is a breakout. It's China stock, though, I think. They got some news this morning, but probably not one I would play. Let's see what else we got. It's weird. Look at this huge runner that's just popping up on my big scans. TURB just got halted up. Turbo Energy to system power Uber's EV fleet in Spain. I'm actually heading to Spain. I might be able to see this company. That's where I'm going in 2 weeks. And that's the news they got. Contact deploy solar storage capacity with 10 factories in Spain. Wow, Spain-based company. Nice hold, the pre-market of 460, and it's just taken off. Another one that I probably wouldn't take advantage of first day, but this is one we'll add on that third green day possibly. It's got to hold. But you want to have, all the big runners in one place usually, so you can always head back to them and watch them. So that's what I'm doing with that watch list. All right, I'm continuing to go down this list, seeing what I got. Our iHeartRadio is starting to be a short, in my opinion. Feel like we gotta start looking at this short. We've got now a run from 2 to 3, so a 30% run in iHeartRadio. Yeah, the breakout was already. Usually, I don't like to short the breakout, but the breakout happened. So we're gonna keep an eye on this for short, definitely. So BBAI long, iHeart short. We got some watchers here. Let me just put it up. I'm just gonna list it right here just so I have it for later. iHeart first red day. And you can do you guys see what I mean by first red day? Is usually if you go up too much, you need to pull back. And I'm not saying to pull all the way back to 2, but even if you can short 320, 330 and it comes back to 260, 270, that's nice profit, you know? And if you're not good at shorting and you think that, longing is the only way, well, to practice a little bit on the short side, you could press minus IHRT, so minus the ticker, and you'll see the stock upside down. And if you look at the stock upside down, doesn't that look like a good first green day that's forming? Like, or at least once it creates that first green day, don't you think it looks like it might turn back around? I do. So all of these things that I'm teaching right now and all these things that I'm kind of showing, the patterns that I talk about that I trade, they're all based off of emotions. And every human has emotions unless you're a robot, which robots are becoming a thing, with RR and RR actually creating a robotic bartender. But if you aren't a robotic bartender, you're going to have emotions, and your emotions, this is exactly what I'm looking for in iHeart. It's not like I'm looking for it to collapse all the way down, but if you catch it on such an overextension day where if iHeart does gap up again tomorrow, that's way overextended, and this was already way overextended on this day, which we were talking about shorting. I don't know why we didn't, but taking it from 430 back to 370, it's 20%. And that's a great way to make some nice money overnight and continue to add up your account. But you can see what I mean here. And if I flip this hive upside down and I do minus hive, I see a clear first green day lining up. Whoop. So if you don't know shorts, just do the minus hive and or minus ticker, and you can always look at it on the opposite direction. All right, so we got about 5 minutes left. Let me continue to go through my scans here. Oh, are cannabis stocks up? This is a cannabis stock. Cannabis stocks have been dipping forever. All right, not much. This needs to get way back above 440. So I was looking for it to hold 440. This is the cannabis ETF. It's MSOS. Usually when this is able to go, a lot of the other cannabis stocks go. You can see we've got a nice momentum shift since July 8th in cannabis. And it came all the way from 225 to 6. So almost tripled itself. The whole sector kind of had a huge move. But we've drifted down since then. The reason why we got this move is because Trump was talking about possibly declassifying cannabis. Usually big news is going to give you big momentum, and that's exactly what happened here. But there hasn't been any news since, and it's just cooled off. So at this point, I feel like we're not going to really get any more momentum there unless news comes. So I don't really like that VRNOF that I just showed you, but it did pop up on my scanners, and it is a cannabis stock. It's actually the dispensary that's right below me. This is actually the dispensary Move, MUV. If any of you guys are around to Move, see they opened up Florida retail footprint, 82 dispensaries in Florida. Move Crystal River. I actually live in Orlando, and there's one literally right next to me. So this is one of those companies that you can actually see their product. Not see their product, but actually know they're a real company, where most of the stocks I trade, you're not really ever going to see their product. Like Turb, all the way in Spain, it just got unhalted. It's spiking crazy. I mean, that's a great way to grow your account. But they are in Spain, so maybe I will see them. But that's kind of what I mean, is you usually don't see the companies you trade. Huge move here. Big runner up 400%. So it is on my third green day surge list right now, but nothing really for me right now. I'm not going to try to guess the top, guess the bottom. I'm not going to try to short it. For this, we're just going to wait. All right, let's keep going down. This is an old OTC runner that I'll keep up. CYDY. Let's see if it creates support for later. It already has 330K in volume, which is light, but at the same time, it's decent for this. It's got to get to over 1 million, and maybe we can try to look at it later. But it does have some sort of news. It says it's presenting at a conference. So usually when things present at a conference, I don't like to play them the day they present. So I always like to look at where the conference date is. And sometimes when these stocks anticipate that date, which this says September 24th, so not till next week, they're able to spike until then because, sometimes they think something's about to be announced that's big. So conference dates, that's the way I read them. I don't really read them like, oh no, like this is great news that just came out. In my opinion, I have to kind of analyze the news there, at least when it comes to conference news. And sometimes they'll present something big on these dates. I don't like to trade the exact date because that's a guess on what they're going to present. And maybe it's going to be a sell the news situation where the stock just goes straight down. But yeah. Nice possible watcher for later. Let me keep going down my list. And that is an ugly chart. It's like another cannabis stock that's just fell from 360 down to 240. Nothing yet. I'll put alerts here, but I don't like anything yet developing there. It has to really develop, in my opinion. Let's see, what else do we got? We're getting towards the bottom of this list here, so not really much else. GTBF's another cannabis one. So you can see kind of something's drifting a little bit in that sector, but nothing too special. When you go to the metal sector, you do still have stocks that are up in the metals and gold sector. You have this gap up, you start trying to start up a little bit. So some are up. Wow, this gold one. This is my favorite gold short, in my opinion. It's a lighter volume one, but I think once gold pulls, this one's going to pull it down pretty bad. SCZMF. I mean, I would think at least back to 140, 120. I don't know how it's done this extension, but gold has been extended. If you look at the gold ETF, it is super extended, and it's still breaking out. That's even up 30%, which you barely see in an ETF. That shows you the strength behind that sector and why I was definitely watching it. We made money off of it yesterday, overnight. So that's why I was watching it again today. Wolf still holding, so I got to put Wolf on my watchers for later. And then we'll put CYDY for a possible first green day, but needs volume, so I'll write that there too. Let's see if the listed cannabis stocks are doing anything. CGC, nothing really. And then what's Tilray doing? Nothing really, but they are up a little bit. Anything else out there? This is a former run in OTC. We got news this morning, it looks like. It slowed down, though. This was the big run. We actually caught a very nice panic dip buy right here to here. We shorted this from here to here, and we played the long. So we almost played this in every way we could. This was definitely a friendly stock of ours. Gold is making new all-time highs here. So that is some nice momentum continuing. I was more on the short side of gold this week just because of how extended it was. All right, I got about 2 more watch lists I'm going to go through here before I close out. If anybody has any questions, definitely let me know before I head out of here. I'm probably going to stay patient with the one that we're in and just try to see if we can drift back up. A lot of the stocks that I've seen lately have kind of done that because markets have been strong. So if we can drift back up, that's what I'll be looking for. If not, I'm probably just use lower days cut. But it's a lighter volume one. You do want to keep an eye on lighter volume stuff midday because you don't want them to fall out on you. So I'll be closely hawking it down, but we're going to see if we can get some sort of chance because in a way it held the breakout. Wow, BTQQF is continuing. This will eventually be a short, I think at 5:30. So let it go one more day. Another one we got to look for short. And this is what I mean. Short basis, no matter what the market's doing, up, down, or side to side, we're usually going to find opportunity because let the market start to kind of fall off tomorrow. And this will be a great one, as well as iHeart. We'll start looking at our short radar. And we got the FOMC too coming up, so be aware of that. Look at Turbo continuing. Good old boost. Turbo boost, man. The Spain stock as I'm going to Spain. I should have just hit the jackpot. The Spain stock as I head to Spain. Okay, last scan. iHeart is starting to fade. I have no clue how it went that high. I wish I would have seen that squeeze. How in the world? I'll put some alerts here just in case it does come back. I doubt it does, though. BBAI is coming back down to our spot, so let's keep our eyes on this midday. Midday is a time that usually stocks do tend to fall back down, so I don't love playing midday. In my eyes, midday is usually 11 a.m. Eastern until about 2:30 p.m. Eastern. So I usually like to do other things midday, chart my trades, scan the field, find other winners, do some studying. There's tons of other ways to make or not make a mistake midday. So last scan here, and then I will head out. Wanna get in, so I go to a spot where my homeboys chill. All right, let me go down through my last list here, and this is the OTC list. I always end it with this list just to see if there's anything out there. This is an old OTC that's trying to bounce, VPLM. It's a pretty big squeezer there. That is a pretty big squeezer, but not one I'll take it. Too light volume for me. A lot of these OTCs are a really light volume. This is a brand new lithium stock that just popped up out of nowhere. It's brand new. I don't like to play brand new stuff, but I do like to put them on my master watch list. So what I'll do is a stock like that is I'd add it to my master watch list. HGRAF, maybe we get something out of there. If it creates a nice enough green day with the news that it has, I'll keep an eye on that one. Sorry. All right. Other than that, more of a sleepy morning. We still got some stuff moving, so I would still be aware of possibilities later. It's more about the bounce back right now. Well, actually, we haven't sold this one from earlier, so we haven't lost yet, but we'll be able to get that bounce back no matter what. Either way, we made some money earlier this week. So 1 win, 1 loss. We'll still be in the green here if we can handle this correctly. And that's really what the strategy is about, being able to stay profitable no matter what type of market we are in. Ooh, I just got a Tilray alert. Let's get some movement back up. We'll see. So as I head out here, let me see if anybody has any questions or anything. Anyone got any questions or tickers or anything that they potentially want to talk about or go over? This MSOS is making new highs. Nice. All right. So it looks like we got some PGEZF profit. Nick sold some profit. Wolf, big sick move. He said Uber's approaching 52-week highs. Yeah, Uber and Lyft. Lyft was also the short I was watching, but I extended way too much yesterday, in my opinion. But nice to see. I'm actually going to close out of this this play here. So we'll see. What did it give me? $76. So small loss, nothing too crazy. But it gave us 76. I don't want to hold any more midday. So pretty much with the 1 win, 1 loss yesterday, we're break even back on the week. So we're back to break even. Let's see what we got here. This week is a smaller account, remember, because I'm going to Spain. So see, there it is. I just cleared out at 76.1. But I'm heading to Spain in 2 weeks, in a week, next Tuesday. So I don't want to get too crazy here in the market before I head out of there. So I am doing a lighter account right now. But right when I come back, we're going to have multiple accounts. We're going to be rolling. And today was a perfect example where even if you took 1 loss in this one, but you also took that record dip that I was talking to you guys about yesterday, you would have taken 1 loss, 1 win, and you would have still been green on the day. So that's the beauty about this. So that's why always about sticking to what you know works and sticking to the cut and then continuing day in and day out. But there it is. Look at BTQQF still squeezing. So I'm going to put this as well. So here's the list I'm going to leave you guys with before I head out. When I come back around 2:30, 2:45, we'll see how this list is doing. But we got some momentum coming in, and we got some stuff we got to keep our eyes on. Cannabis stocks. And there we go. All right, YouTube team. I hope you guys enjoyed it today. I'm glad that you actually were able to watch a loss and a win last week, because it's not only about winning and trading. You do lose, but as long as you know how to handle it, life goes on and your profit curve continues to go up. Just stick to the plan. All right, everybody on YouTube, much love. Hit that subscribe button and join us in the Mavericks Mastery. If you are interested, check me out in the Simpler Trading room or Simpler Trading website under Mavericks Mastery.